Dylan, can you tell us what that evening was like for you?
It was tough. It was, I think, I guess I can't really, but, watching back, replaying it in your head, it's pretty scary and, just a pretty tough evening, pretty embarrassed by it. There's a lot of emotions there that you kind of replay and you live with, and you have to see that kind of highlight, you could call it, that will be attached to your name and for a while. So it'll always be there, and people will always be able to watch it. It's pretty tough.
Was it the first hit that knocked you out, or the second, or what do you remember from that? And when you regained consciousness?
Yeah, I guess I don't remember, like I said, the play. So I watched it. Like I said, I don't remember the play. So remember Pete coming out, them asking about my neck. I've seen a lot of people talk about my past history, and I don't think that has anything to do with that play. My neck is fine. So it just, there was some concern there about my neck, but it was mostly my head and my jaw. So you can make what you want out of that.
Did you have any family at the game or friends or anything?
Yeah, my mom and dad were here, and some friends. So my agent was here. Yeah, it's tough. It's hard. My wife was at home watching. It's just I had a lot of people text past teammates and friends, and it's hard to talk about, right? I felt pretty embarrassed about it. Felt it's just not something you want to be a part of, and it was tough. So was not happy with how it went and how the after effects went. I don't think there's, it's not really a hockey play, and it's just unfortunate that's how, my last week has been.
Do you kind of feel like, it's happened to you a few times, and I kind of feel like some sort of target? Have you talked to anybody in the league about that? It's happened a few times now and stuff.
No, I haven't talked to anybody in the league. I think if you look, last week in the league has been pretty eye-opening for. It's been kind of a trend, I guess. This last week has been a highlight for player safety, and as a player, I'm obviously closely attached because I just went through something. But I've talked to guys on our team, guys from other teams, and it's hard to feel safe out there. It's hard to know how to protect yourself. If I truly believe that we have the best refs in the world in the sport of hockey. The NHL, I've played other levels, and our refs are good. I just think it's the message being sent down from the top is what is safe and what's not, and how it's a discipline. It's just, there's a lot of questions there, and it's kind of scary as a player.
Dylan, are you disappointed and surprised that there wasn't any supplemental action taken to the players involved?
I don't have a comment on that. It just it happened, and one of our guys got suspended. So I don't have a comment there.
Did you hear from anybody from Ottawa? Any of the
I don't have a comment on that either. I don't, there was a lot of text messages and calls and I didn't want to look at a lot of them, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's the second time that you've been involved in something with Joseph. I mean, just, are you surprised by that, or just any comment on that?
No, I don't have a comment on that. I mean, you know, he plays on the line of you know, being in your face and you know, that's how I'm sure he feels he has to play, so that's how he plays. And you know, I don't know, I don't have a problem with Matthew Joseph.
Dylan, following up on what Ted said, for a long time, you led the team in penalty minutes. And, you know, quite frankly, I don't think you should be leading this team in penalty minutes, but is that because you're compelled that you have to defend yourself? Because it seems that, you know, guys are running at you a lot.
I think there's a lot of instances, you know, I go back to Boston this year where it got physical late in the game and we got in a scrum and probably shouldn't have got in that scrum. There's, you know, I got in a fight this year, I probably shouldn't have done that. And, you know, this instance, watching it back, I wasn't really doing anything, you know, I just was kind of trying to make a play on the puck and just standing there really. So it, I don't really have an answer for that, Art. I think going back to my last comments, what is how do you protect yourself? Who's protecting you? There's a lot of unquestioned answers there in our sport right now.
Dylan,
You mentioned the safety aspect. How much is that in the back of your mind during a game? I mean, obviously, I'm sure the first game back, it's one thing, but on a night-to-night basis.
Well, I think, like I said, I'm closely related to this. It's been on, you know, really on my mind a lot, and you always see what's going on around the league. So maybe it's because I'm thinking about it more. I don't believe so, because of the things that have gone on. You see, you know, Kyle Connor take a knee, you know, Gabranson places it himself. It's there's a lot going on, and you know, that's all I have to say.
I guess it's taken it to another level, but why do you think all this stuff's happening?
Can't tell you.
Larkin,
Ted.
transitioning kind of to the season and schedule too, this has been a little bit of a challenging stretch for you guys as well. How do you not lament on lost points and kind of focus on learning and building in the road ahead?
Well, yeah, we can't feel sorry for ourselves. We've had some unlucky injuries and you know, guys coming in and out of the lineup, but you know, it's 8 games in 2 weeks. We got to find a way to salvage points here before the Christmas break, and you know, it's a hard schedule, but everyone deals with times like this in the season, and you have to, you know, it could go the other way where you're rolling and feeling good for this stretch, and you know, you make up a lot of ground, and right now we're the exact opposite. We got to find a way to get back on track and you know, salvage points before we get 3 big days off for the break, and then keep grinding.
At this moment in the season, between the injuries and the busy schedule, like you mentioned, what are sources of kind of optimism or resilience for you?
Well, I think just getting through it. You're gonna have hard stretches in every season. I've been on teams where things like this have happened. We've had injury problems, and we really haven't had a chance, and I don't feel that way with this team. We're going into Winnipeg tomorrow night with some guys out of the lineup. I still feel like we have a chance to win. Last night, we feel really disappointed. We had that effort. So it's a completely different feeling than the past, and you know, we're in a rut, but there's ways out of it, and it's the guys in the room.
Did you get an explanation or anybody in the organization of the league about the penalties, why what was called, or?
No.
No.
Derek, any updates on your goalies?
Yeah, Billy will be unavailable for us for a while here, so probably more in that week-to-week category. And Alex, he had his first workout today, but I do not see him available for us till probably after Christmas. So,
Are you calling anybody up then? I mean,
yeah, I think we'll probably look. We don't know yet. I think they're working through some things, but obviously we'll need someone with James for the next 3 games here.
It's like they just announced Hutchison, is that?
There you go. So, yeah, Hutchins will be the other goalie.
How tough of a break is this for him? I mean, it seemed like he was getting into a little bit.
Yeah,
He's
it's
just not
obviously,
having them
it's
now for a
just,
while.
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's obviously a physical setback, probably a mental setback in some ways, so, you know, like anyone else injured, you know, battle through it and get better and be ready to go when your time comes.
has there been any progress? Is David having his appeal heard already today or later today? or-
Later today, 4 o'clock today.
Okay.
So-
Is there some frustration with an appeals process? I mean, it's been a week. Like, maybe you guys get him back a game early.
Yeah, well, he still could be available potentially for us tomorrow. I mean,
Right,
it's not-
so-
That's our hope. So, yeah, no, I honestly, I couldn't tell you how, I mean, a lot of things, you gotta get everyone available, just probably the timing of it. So I wouldn't say frustrated, you know, you're frustrated with the whole thing. I mean, obviously, it's a very good player, out 6 games. And we finally just got our captain back on the same play. So, I mean, that's 10 man games, 2 guys in our top 6 and in our top power play. So that's more frustrating than anything, but it's the process.
How do you kind of refocus everybody on what's at stake? I mean, the points that are at stake and everything. It
Yeah,
seems like
well, we
with-
gotta get our game back in order. Obviously, we lost our identity a little bit with this stretch, so I think it's on all of us with an opportunity tomorrow. Again, we'll preach some things to try to be a little bit better as a group, but yeah, it's on us to get this in order, and our first opportunity is tomorrow.
Can you see what happened between that first week out of Stockholm, back from Stockholm? You were starting well and.
Well, I think we had a
power
little
play-
bit of, that's probably the identity we've gotten away from, which I talked about. Remember, if you could recall those games, those were tight, we had everyone going, we didn't give up much, we had energy, we had a pop, we were working off the forecheck. You know, we've definitely lost a little bit of that right now. So, and you see little sparks of it. Obviously, we went through the Carolina and Philly loss about only giving up 3 goals. And then last night, obviously, we had the slow start. And then they scored on 4 of the first 5 chances, and we put ourselves in a huge hole. So it was a poor start to it. So I just think it's, again, putting it all together. Nothing's changed. I think I'm, you know, pretty clear from day one that we have to be on completely to be successful. And, you know, you take this 3-game losing streak, he's just playing some solid defense at times. We're not able to get to the net. We score a few goals. We're not able to give up some easy looks. So again, I just think it's getting our entire game together.
Derek, with Lyon, it doesn't sound like you're, okay, maybe not the next few days, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be too long or what.
No, I think the fact that we haven't put him on the IR yet,
Okay.
he'll be close to approaching that potentially, where we may retro it back, but obviously we've been put in a really tough situation here with our goaltending. So I think we're gonna kind of leave that for a little hope, maybe in that day-to-day range.
Do you have a time frame on Cottiston?
Yeah, he'll probably be in that week-to-week range too.
In the context of a game like last night's, where you're chasing the game fairly early on and dealing with in-game injuries and also a lot of special teams, what are you looking for when it comes to kind of in-game mixing and matching
Energy.
with lines?
Spark, yeah, probably spark. That's a good question with the lines, but just energy, we just lacked it last night. And unfortunately, the times we got energy was off a goal. And those are hard to come by in the league. And you can't wait on just scoring. You saw the Petrie goal with Fabs going harder than that. Our next 4 minutes were good. Obviously, the push we had in the end came off power play goals. So you got to find it different ways. I thought we had a couple block shots towards the end of that first period that could have gave us a spark. I know the bench got energized, and then we go ahead and take a penalty in the very next shift, and we end up killing 4 straight minutes at the end, and then they make it a 3-0 deficit off that power play goal. So I just think we need to find it through different ways, and we haven't done that of late.
With Kane and DeBrincat, sorry, what's the balance between knowing the history and the chemistry that they've had versus also maybe they weren't so productive those first 5 or 6 games?
I think they reflect the rest of our team. There's some detail in their game. You don't get practice time. Things do get loose. You can see, I mean, the most novice hockey mind can see us looping all over the ice and not stopping on plays, and it just creates, I mean, those first 2 goals against was the old-fashioned loop and hope instead of edging up. That's kind of the detail we're going to be talking about and needing starting tomorrow, and I think those guys reflected a little bit. You chase a little bit, and you end up trying to chase it. I'm not going to say you lean. You kind of lean, get away from your details a little bit, and I think those 2 are in that right now.
Derek, pardon me, Derek, Dylan said something kind of interesting. He complimented the officials, said that they were the best in the world.
Yeah.
Yet, he also kind of took a shot at the league, saying that they're so inconsistent when they're doling out discipline that guys don't really feel safe at times.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
feel that way too?
It's I'm the front line to this. There's the balance. There's the heavy hand of the league. Even that night, I'm upset. I wouldn't say shocked, but we're looking to have our captain out. The visual of him down, I was sick to my stomach. I was no different than anyone else. The things going through your mind with his history, and then you have a teammate that sticks up for him, which I would want all the time in every situation. But there's the fine line of that balance. So is there frustrations? Probably the frustrations, yeah. But you gotta stick up for your guys somewhat. It's very frustrating on one play. And again, I don't want to keep going back to this, but Matthew Joseph knew exactly what he was doing, and he caught him in the head. And that trickle effect, again, is it a suspendable play? No, I understand all that, but the trickle effect was we lost our captain and a really important player after that. So I think there's a fine line of trying to leave your emotions out of it, with also being professional on that line. And it's hard sometimes because it's the reality of it. But with that said, the league's not going to wait for you. We have not handled the stretch of games we've had. We have not handled having our top 2 centers out very well. And that's on, we got to get it going. And we're healthy now. We have bodies back. Obviously, we have some issues with our goaltending injuries, but we got to keep moving forward. So I understand Dylan's frustration because I feel the same thing, but you got to move past it. That's the reality of it.